Hi, this is Greg from Greg's Bass Shed. Welcome to the lesson. We're going to be looking at Bullet in the Head by Rage Against the Machine. This is the 5th video in my bassline breakdown series. And it's a follow-up really from the scales video lesson that I did a few weeks ago. It's got a really nice minor-y, bluesy, pentatonic kind of riff for the second half of the tune. It's quite a full-on tune, especially the second half. But it's got a really nice bass line, and I remember hearing this at a festival, must have been early 90s I think, and then rushing home and trying to play the bass line. It's such a funky bass line, as you'll see. The bass player from Rage Against the Machine is Tom Comerford, and he used to use Music Men and jazz basses, so I'll demonstrate this on a J bass for you. So if you want to see the written music or the tab for this, I've got a whole version, so just download that in the description. You'll get a PDF, just put your email address in and I'll send that to you. Right, I'm going to teach the bass line in 3 main parts. So we've got the verses, the chorus, and the second half of the song, which is the pentatonic sort of riff. So if we look at the verse first, you've got one main riff that plays throughout the verses with a few variations. So I'll play that main riff for you first, and then I'll play the second verse for you, which you can see on the PDF as well. Okay, so if you try and play the bass line, we've got a double stop. A double stop's just 2 notes at once. So if we start on the 7th fret of the A string with our second finger, that's an E there. And sometimes it does a muted note after the second E. And you can just lightly tap the string with your right hand to do that. So it goes down to the open E, and then the double stop. And I use my first and third finger, so I keep my second finger kind of free for the E on the A string. So to play the double stop, first finger on the 6th fret of the D string, and third finger on the 7th fret of the G string. And you play that together. And obviously with your right hand, when you play the double stop, just use your first and second finger at the same time. First finger on D, second finger on G. So you really need to practice first of all that riff. You can practice open E and then the double stop. So your left hand's normally in the right place, and the difficulty that actually is getting your right hand jumping up to the D and the G string and getting that spot on. So concentrate on your right hand as well when you're doing that. And if I do the second verse, you've seen how I play that. So we've got the main riff, and the second time we slide up from the E to the F, so that's 7 to 8 on the A string. So the first bit as usual, and I use my third finger for that slide. So if you slide with your third finger, you've got your second finger ready to play the riff again the next time round. So but whatever you prefer really, you can use your second finger. There aren't really any rules here, just what you find easiest to play really, so just try those 2. And then the third riff is the same as the first one, and then the 4th time, the 4th measure, that's just 7, 9, 7, 9 on the D string and then the G string. And that's, if you see from the PDF, I've written swung. So swung is that rhythm. Boo-doo-doo-doo, boo-doo-doo-doo. If it wasn't swung, it would be. So just practice that, 7 to 9. And the whole of that measure. And then the 5th measure of the second verse is the same as the opening riff. And in the 6th measure, you slide up. So start in the normal place for that double stop, which is 6 and 7, and slide up to 7 and 8. So you don't have to pluck with your right hand for the second double stop. So just practice that until you got that comfortable. So the whole measure. And then the last 2 measures are the same riff. So if I just play you that whole second verse again. Okay, so that's the second verse, and verse 1 and 3 just uses a combination of all those measures that we know already. So the first verse just plays the same riff all the way through. The third verse has just got one of the sliding double stops in on the 4th measure, and then it's the same all the way through. So have a look at the PDF for the verses, and also have a listen to the track, and just play along with those. So if we look at the chorus next, I'll play that for you first. So we start on 0 on the E string, and we go 3 and 5, so that's E, G, A. And that's a syncopated beat, so we play the E on the beat, and then the G and the A we're playing just before the next beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the second part of it is 7, 3, 5, 0. And that's B, G, A, E. So the whole of the first part of the chorus. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. And again, second half, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the 2 parts of the chorus are exactly the same, apart from the last note of each section you hold down for different lengths. So for the first section you hold the last note on for 4 beats, and then there's a 2 measure rest, and the second time round you hold the last note for 8 beats, and then back into the riff again. Okay, so if we move on to the second half of the song, that's based on one riff for bass. It's a minor pentatonic bluesy sort of riff. I'll play that for you first, normal speed, and then I'll slow it down. Okay, so as I said, that's based on a minor pentatonic. Use these notes. So it doesn't use that note there. Obviously it's an octave lower, but it's just easier to show you that shape here. So apart from this note, it uses all those. So I start with my third finger on E, which is a 7th fret, and then down to the 5th fret, which is a D, and then 5, 6. So you're all in the same position there. Okay, and that last bit is 5, 0 on the E string. So seven, 5, 5, 6, 5, 0. And then use your first finger on the 3rd fret of the E string. 3, 0, 3, 5, 3, 0, 0, 0. So really, there's only one jump in the middle, and then jump down with your first finger to the 3rd fret. So slowly with me, 3, 4. There's a slight variation on that in the 4th measure of the riff where it starts. So they're just 3 E's, low E's, so that's 0 on the E string. So, and then 0, 0, 0. So that's that stop, and then it just goes into the riff as usual. When we get near the end of the song, the bass line changes slightly. I'll play that last bit for you now, and that will go from the last 4 times round and to the end. So that's just 7, so the E, so E on the A string and E, which is 0 on the E string. So bim bebedit, 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 bebedit. And that's just a slide from the 7th fret. So that's the 3 sections of Bullet in the Head. Practice all the sections slowly on their own at first, and when you get them up to speed, then you can combine all the sections. Remember to get the PDF. You can download that by clicking on the link in the description, and I'll send that to you. Also, remember to subscribe if you haven't already. You can do that by clicking on the subscribe button on the channel, or you can click there in the last 20 seconds. There'll be a button to click. I'll release a video every Friday, so if you subscribe, you won't miss these videos. Now, you can check out the other videos for my bassline breakdown series. If you want me to do any other songs, then just leave a comment below. Also, remember to like the video, that helps to spread the word and to build up the community on Greg's Bass Shed, which I'm really trying to do here now, get as many people on board. So take part in the discussions. If you've got any questions, I'm happy to help. Just leave a comment below. This is Greg from Greg's Bass Shed. See you on Friday.